The term femme fatale comes from the French expression les femmes fatales, which means fatal women. It refers to a woman who uses her sexuality and cunning to entrap men, leading them into dangerous or compromising situations. The femme fatale is a figure that has been popular in literature, film, and television since the 19th century. She is often portrayed as a femme fatale. Spews, she's mysterious, seductive, and deadly. Think of Catherine Trammell from Basic Instinct, Hannibal Lecter's sister, Misha Barton from The Silence of the Lambs. In this episode, we're going to delve into the dark world of the femme fatale and how she exerts her erotic control over men. We will explore the psychological mechanisms that make her so irresistible, and the ways in which she uses her sexuality to manipulate and dominate her victims. So if you're ready to uncover the secrets of the femme fatale and learn about the psychology of erotic control, then keep watching. The birth of the femme fatale. The concept of the femme fatale can be traced back to the 19th century, when it first appeared in French literature. One of the earliest examples of the femme fatale character is Madame de Montespan in Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. She is a beautiful but manipulative woman who uses her charms to exploit the protagonist, Jean Valjean. Another early example is the character of Fedora in Alfred de Musset's play On Captif de l'amour. Fedora is a femme fatale who uses her beauty and cunning to manipulate a man into doing her bidding. However, it was in the film noir genre of the 1940s and 50s that the femme fatale truly came into her own. Film noir is a style of movie characterized by dark, moody cinematography, a cynical plot, and themes of crime and corruption. The femme fatale is a common character in film noir, and she is often the catalyst for the story's conflict. Some classic examples of the femme fatale in film noir include Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity, Ava Gardner in The Killers, and Phyllis Dietrichson in Sunset Boulevard. Characteristics of the femme fatale. The femme fatale is a complex and multifaceted character, but there are some common characteristics that define her. First and foremost, she is incredibly seductive. Beauty and sensuality are what initially draw men to her, and she knows how to use her charms to full effect. She is often described as having a mysterious or exotic quality about her that makes her all the more desirable. Another key characteristic of the femme fatale is her independence. She is not a damsel in distress waiting for a man to save her. Rather, she is self-sufficient and resourceful. In fact, she may even be more successful than her male counterparts. This independence can be intimidating to men, and it is part of what makes the femme fatale so dangerous. The femme fatale is also highly intelligent and calculating. She is not simply a pretty face. She is a shrewd operator who knows how to get what she wants. This intelligence is often manifested in her ability to manipulate others, particularly men. She is a master manipulator who can make men do things they would normally never do. In addition to her intelligence and cunning, the femme fatale is also incredibly cool and composed. She is able to remain calm in difficult situations, and she is not easily flustered. This composure can be very alluring to men, but it can also be very dangerous. The femme fatale is not above doing whatever it takes to get what she wants, and her cool, calm demeanor can make her all the more unpredictable. Finally, the femme fatale is often associated with danger. She is a risk to take, but that is precisely what makes her so appealing to men. The femme fatale is the ultimate challenge, and many men are willing to risk anything to win her over. How the femme fatale works. Now that we have established the characteristics of the femme fatale, let's discuss how she exerts her erotic control over men. The femme fatale is the master manipulator, and she uses every tool at her disposal to control those around her. One way in which the femme fatale exerts her control is through her sexuality. As we mentioned earlier, she is incredibly seductive, and she knows how to use her body to get what she wants. For the femme fatale, sex is a weapon, and she is not afraid to use it to her advantage. She may use her sexuality to manipulate a man into doing what she wants, or she may simply use it to satisfy her own needs. Either way, the femme fatale is always in control. In addition to her sexuality, the femme fatale also uses her intelligence to manipulate people. She is a master strategist who is always thinking several steps ahead. She knows how to play on people's emotions, and she is able to manipulate them into doing what she wants. The femme fatale is the ultimate chess player, and she is always several moves ahead of her competition. Another way in which the femme fatale exerts her control is through her independence. She is not dependent on anyone, and this gives her the freedom to do whatever she wants. The femme fatale is not afraid to take risks, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants. This independence also makes her very alluring to men, as she represents a challenge that must be conquered. The femme fatale is also a master of deception. She is able to create a false persona whenever it is to her advantage. She knows how to lie convincingly, and she is able to manipulate people into believing her lies. This ability to deceive is another way in which the femme fatale exerts her control, as it allows her to get close to her targets and manipulate them without being detected. It's important to note that the femme fatale is not always portrayed in a negative light. In some cases, she is simply a woman who is taking control of her own destiny. In a patriarchal society, the femme fatale is a powerful symbol of female empowerment. She is a woman who refuses to be controlled by men, and she is able to use her sexuality and intelligence to achieve her goals. Famous examples of the femme fatale. There are many famous examples of the femme fatale in literature, film, and television. As we mentioned earlier, some classic examples include Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity, Ava Gardner in The Killers, and Phyllis Dietrichson in Sunset Boulevard. Other famous femme fatales include Rita Hayworth in Gilda, Kia, Angelina Jolie in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Megan Fox in Jennifer's Body. In literature, some famous examples of the femme fatale include Lady Macbeth in Shakespeare's Macbeth, Salome in Oscar Wilde's Salome, Akka and Lila in Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. Conclusion: the femme fatale is a fascinating character who has captured the imagination of audiences for centuries. She is a dangerous and seductive figure who uses her sexuality and cunning to manipulate men. While she may be a negative force in some stories, she can also be seen as a symbol of female empowerment. The femme fatale is a reminder that women are just as capable as men of wielding power and influence. We hope you enjoyed this episode on the Femme Fatale. If you did, please leave us a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time.